Ready?
All right. Good morning. My name is Yusef Miller, Y-U-S-E-F, Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R, and I'm with the North County Civil Liberties Coalition. And we're here today to give an update on our meeting with law enforcement this past week. We had a meeting concerning the controversial arrest of Mr. Cox Hartshaw. And law enforcement was really open, and they met with us very, very soon. They got on our calendar, and we had a very open discussion. There were a lot of things that needed to be worked on, but law enforcement was open to those suggestions, and we appreciate it. We discussed the incident in various ways with Chief Williams and Captain Pascal. The meeting was discussed. We discussed police reform. We discussed the CRB, and we discussed AB 1421, which is the release of the records of law enforcement to make sure that they don't have controversial issues in their records. CRB, this is the Civilian Review Board, and it is designed to make sure that there's oversight and community input on law enforcement engagement in the community. Carlsbad Department was very open to this suggestion, and we're going to meet in the future on forming this board. They were also open to the request of AB 1421, which is the community's right to know the background of officers involved in incidents such as this. So we're pulling these things together to make sure we look out for the best interests of the community and law enforcement in general. We're going to make sure that we meet in the future with open transparency, and we want to thank all of our allies, the North County NCCLC, the Racial Justice Coalition, the First Responders Do No Harm, Moms Demand Action, Indivisible 49, and others who were on the call. So right now we're going to hear from the North County representative of the NCCLC.
Good morning. My name is Rob Jenkins, R-O-B-E-R-T-J-E-N-K-I-N-S. I am the Executive Vice President for the North San Diego County NAACP. And first and foremost, I would like to thank Assistant Police Chief Nikki Williams and Captain Pasquale for meeting with us to discuss the tasing and arrest of Mr. Cox Hartshaw. Let me just say also, we were a little disappointed that Police Chief Neil Gallucci wasn't available to meet with the task force. About a year ago, a year after he was appointed to his position in 2017, the San Diego County Magazine Law Enforcement Quarterly asked him a series of questions. One of the questions was, what is your favorite part of the job? He stated, and I quote, "I've really enjoyed helping individuals in the community and partnering with the community to solve problems and promote public safety," unquote. Well, we as a community have a problem, which is to eradicate police brutality based on racial bias. And if the police chief don't have time to sit with us, is he a part of the solution or a part of the problem? One of our talking points out of the task force was transparency. Transparency of police officers' stops and arrests, transparency of misconduct, transparency of and accountability of racial bias training by the Carlsbad Police Department. Assistant Police Chief Nikki Williams stated that they have trainings every 2 years. We feel in this time of heightened police brutality and racial injustices among people of color, specifically African American men, that racial bias training should be more frequent. More importantly, who's conducting the trainings? Are the instructors in-house or someone who is certified to teach law enforcement specific racial bias trainings? Another talking point we discussed with the Assistant Police Chief was body cams. Unfortunately, during the arrest of Mr. Cox Hartshaw, the two arresting officers' body cams came off. Mr. Williams stated that the body cams were secured with magnets. He also stated that they are experimenting with other methods to make sure that the body cams are affixed in a more secure manner. We need a time frame on the conclusion of these experiments. Body cams are supposed to provide an undisputed record of truth thereby holding our officers accountable. Let me make it crystal clear, we are far from being satisfied with all of the answers that we receive from the police chief, but we look forward to an ongoing relationship. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rob Jenkins. Now we'll introduce Sheila from Indivisible 49.
Good morning. My name is Sheila Kenny, S-H-E-I-L-A-K-E-N-E-Y. I'm one of the founding members of the North County Civil Liberties Coalition and a member of Indivisible 49. I joined today with Joseph and Rob regarding our meeting with Assistant Chief of Police Mickey Williams about the ineffective policies by the Carlsbad Police Department, and speak on the importance of community public forums and town halls to address necessary changes that must go forward. Our coalition and many of our affiliate partners are holding firm to the commitment from the police department for regularly scheduled town hall meetings and public forums with Carlsbad members. When addressing this with Mr. Williams, his response was, "We'll wait till after the pandemic." What we are saying is virtual meetings can bypass all concern about public gatherings. And once again, we say for the individuals and communities to talk. The need to improve police relations has been going on for quite a while. In 2015, the New York NYPD took to town halls to hear community voices on how to improve police-community relations. It required them, from its leadership to the rank and file, to listen openly to the needs, concerns, and ideas of the community, and the willingness to work cooperatively. The responsibility to achieve true community policing must be shared as expressed by the near 1,000 people attending this forums. Today, with the blatant disregard for the life of the killing of George Floyd and others before him, hundreds of virtual towns and public forums are being held daily all over the country. Los Angeles, Boston, New Jersey, Sacramento, Madison, Wisconsin are just a few of the virtual cities and town halls have been very productive. This past Tuesday, the Minnesota State Legislature passed a bill called the Minnesota Police Accountability Act. A section within this bill creates a community advisory council for the state's policing board, licensing board, and independent use of the force investigative unit. The bill now goes to the governor, it's on his desk, and is all set to be signed. It is now time for Carlsbad to be transparent and to listen to what the community and neighbors say. Our coalition and the people in our community want to know why Marcel Pasha was a victim of the 6/11/2020 incident, and why the police chose the tactics they used to subdue him. Citizens of North County want to express their concerns about the possibility of future incidents reoccurring if the police department does not make some changes. We and the community members will not be satisfied until there is justice about this incident to prevent it from happening again. I'm grateful to speak on behalf of our coalition and the community and look forward to working with the police department. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. We have here a hard copy letter of our list of demands that we will distribute to the department and city council so that we can have it for record to make sure that the Zoom conference that we had with a lot of words and a lot of decisions don't go by without some hard documentation. We will deliver this today and we will follow it up with electronic submissions. In this letter, we will have follow-up meetings with town hall. The department has already reached out to us to populate the calendar with suggestions for town halls, suggestions for meetings on de-escalation and improvement in police policy, and for the recommendations of the CPAC. This is a commission on police accountability and transparency and other issues. So this is a work in progress. It's not going to be overnight, but we're going to stay here for the long haul. North County Civil Liberties Coalition is here for the people of Carlsbad and any of its visitors that come through here and have contact with law enforcement. So now we would like to open it up to any questions that you have, or we're available for one-on-ones.
Do we know the status? Have you guys spoken to Mr. Cox since?
Mr. Cox Harshaw? No, we have not. He hasn't reached out to us. And like I was saying earlier, that this is a bigger issue than Mr. Cox Harshaw. We want to make sure that all Carlsbad residents are safe and its visitors. So the answer to your question is no, he hasn't reached out to us yet. But this is an issue that's very paramount for all citizens.
Was there a particular part in that video where you feel like police first went over the line, and why you feel that they went over the line?
Yes, as was discussed by Mr. Rob Jenkins from the North County NCCLC, when law enforcement first arrived on the scene, they approached from the rear. And it's at night and he's already agitated. We believe that this escalated the issue versus de-escalate the issue. Within less than a minute, there's a struggle and there's tasing. Immediately, Vice coming up to the agitated person, talking to the person, calming them down, seeing what the problem is. We think that when we know that this would have been a much better outcome, and we wouldn't be here today.
Is there a reason why the police aren't here today?
Well, they weren't invited to this particular meeting. We communicate with them personally, but we didn't invite them to this meeting.
What's your timeline for hoping to see some meetings change?
We want it very soon, within the week. We've been reached out to by the department, and they're interested in making this calendar event come very soon. But we don't have an official date that we can tell you right now, but it's very soon.
When you mentioned, assuming that you mentioned to police, you're concerned about the approach from behind and it just really starting off in an escalation. What was their comment to you?
Well, they saw that. They appreciated the input on that, and they invited us to help look at their de-escalation policies and their engagement policies to see if there's some places where we can tweak. So this is very important. This is a very important step forward, and we want to make many more of these steps. Like we said earlier, we're far from satisfied with simply that, but this is a step in the right direction.
Is there a reason why you didn't meet with the chief, only the assistant chiefs?
Sorry, say again?
Is there a reason why you only met with the assistant chiefs and not the chief?
Well, we don't know why that was set up that way. We asked for the meeting to be with the chief, Chief Gallucci. We asked for a meeting with him. He set up that we would see the assistant chief, Mr. Williams, and the Captain Pascal. So the request was for the chief.
But fair to say that overall you feel encouraged by the interaction that you had?
I feel encouraged by the interaction, but I like to be cautious with my optimism. We've been here before, and we want to see how these follow-on meetings, setting up the town hall, how they will look. How will it be an interaction? Will it be law enforcement? Excuse me. Will it be law enforcement just preaching to us, or will it be a serious engagement of dialogue where we can come to some solutions and changes? So, although we're satisfied with the fact that they met us, we're not overall satisfied until we see results, and that's where we're cautious.
When was the meeting?
The meeting was, what was the date of that? It was the 15th.
And they've contacted us for a further meeting, and that has not been set.
So now you're getting ready to turn in this demand letter of the changes. I mean, you discussed it in this meeting.
Yes.
So now the significance of this letter is?
to make a on the record statement that we did have this meeting and it doesn't get lost in any system. We have a record of it, they have a record of it, City Council has a record of it, and we're just covering all bases to make sure that this is in black and white and we can refer back to it and try to make sure that we're moving forward at all times. We're not going to slow down, we're not going to back off. This is something that we really need to do, and we need to do it all over the nation, not just here in Carlsbad. We need it in San Diego, we need it in Vista, we need it in Oceanside, we need it in Escondido. And we're shooting for all of those cities throughout North County and throughout the San Diego counties.
I can email you the letter.
Have you had a chance to meet with any of the other departments, or?
Yes,
You mentioned Oceanside, Escondido.
we're on the schedule for most of those cities I just mentioned. We're on their schedule, we're on their calendar.
And when we say we, is it, who is in these meetings?
We're allies here. Well, the host organization is the North County Civil Liberties Coalition, and we're joined by the North County chapter of the NAACP. We're joined by Encinitas for Equity. We're joined by Indivisible 49. Showing Up for Racial Justice, Surge. We're also joined by Moms Demand Action. And that's just to name a few, and Racial Justice Coalition. And that's just to name a few. We have a lot of allies, and some of them couldn't be here today, and we wanted to be respectful of social distancing.
And the meeting that you had with PD was
Zoom.
social distancing? Okay.
It was on the Zoom call.
How confident are you that change will happen in the department?
Very cautious, very cautious. So although we're going forward in a confident way. We're going forward in a confident way, but we're not saying that this is the end, because we've seen U-turns in the middle of meetings. So we're very cautious, but we're coming to them with full honesty and full openness. Okay, great. Thank you.